members of the home to profit by the efforts of the wage earner. That whoever is in that family, that is the one earning and bringing money home, it is this money that makes it possible for all of us, the other members of the family, to profit by the efforts of that man or that woman. And that's why we now call them the breadwinners of our families. So without money, then we would not be having people referred to as breadwinners. And therefore, the amount of money and the handling of this money determines the standards of living in a given home. That the money that the breadwinner, the bread earner brings home will determine the standards of these families. And that is why we define families like this, that this family is living on a higher level of the standards of life, and this one is living on a lower level of the standards of living. It is money that we use to give our families levels of standards. So it is money that will define my family as a low class family, or my family as a high class family. And because of that, that is why the consideration of money is basic in the establishment and operation of all family policies. All the things that we have discussed here pertaining to our families, it is only money that makes it. All those things that we talked about can be established, and the operations can be done well when there is money. So that is why today we have decided to talk about our family budget, our family finances. Now, inasmuch as financial problems loom large and strangely, even in what seem to be an ideal family setup, it can be readily understood that it will be much more serious in families in which there are complicated circumstances. Financial problem is a potential social dynamite, which, if not handled well, if handled carelessly, may endanger the integrity of the family units. That what we are talking about this evening is so elusive, is so, you don't have a standard measurement of the money as we just talk about it. But if we don't look at this properly, then this is a potential social problem. It can explode anytime, and this may endanger the integrity of the family unit. You know, without me telling you, that many times our quarrels at home start from money. Our family misunderstandings start from money. If the husband did not leave little money at home for food, he did not leave anything at all, the woman of the house spent the money extravagantly, or the woman of the house did not spend the money the way it was intended, your school-going boy or girl decides to misuse money you gave for school fees, you know, house rent is not paid, and things, it is all money, even in our families. So one of these complicating factors that aggravate the financial problems in a newly established home results from a situation in which the wife was previously accustomed to a higher standard of living than her husband's limited income can provide. We are saying that the money problem starts immediately a couple gets married. Immediately we carry out a colorful wedding here, Then the two people go out there to start living their married life. A problem quickly crops in. If the man married from a family and the girl's family was wealthier than the boy's family, then now a problem has already started. By the way, in this topic, we are also going to handle the in-law interference that comes in these young families through money, because of money. So when a young man marries a young girl whose financial background is stronger than the man's background, then this is the beginning of the problems in this house. A young woman reared in the lap of luxury usually finds it difficult to be content with the meager provisions of a new home in which the income is only a fraction of that of her parents. The writer is telling us that money problems that come from the beginning of a marriage is usually because the girl has come from a wealthy background. She finds it difficult to be content in this home where the income of her husband is meager. So what does that mean? It means that immediately after the wedding, this girl will have to ask her parents to come in aid of her family financially. Many young men have mistakenly assumed that they are being smart by asking for the hand of the daughters of wealthy parents, not realizing what a hardship it will be for this young woman to become accustomed to a standard of living which by comparison smacks of poverty. In such an instance, once the glamour of the wedding ceremony and honeymoon have passed, it is quite natural that the parents of the bride will be asked to come to the assistance of this family. As a result, a parent-in-law interference has already begun. We are all aware that any marriage that is being remote controlled by the parents of the bride will not flourish. This marriage will not thrive. This marriage will not progress. Why? Because we have learned in the course of our study that all men are full of ego. And when this ego is not massaged the proper way, the man already feels useless. And so we rightfully say that men are the heads of their houses. Men are the heads of their families. This headship depends so much on the man's economic ability. Is the man able to pay his house? Is the man able to buy food? Is the man able to pay school fees? Is the man able to buy clothes? Is the man able to do anything that pertains to money in his family? And you will realize that in a family, even if it is the woman who is earning much more than man, we still want the man to carry out all the financial responsibilities in that house. Why? Because the man is the head of the family. And so, when it happens that now the parents of the girl are the ones that are going to take care of this family, the man will quickly feel inferior. And a marriage where inferiority complex is the leading, then you can be rest assured that there is going to be no peace in this marriage. that there is going to be no enjoyment in this marriage. Why? Because the man already feels that he is not the head of this family. The man already feels the marriage is not in his hands. Someone else is in control of his family. And so, this brings in the parent-in-law problems. And when there is a parent-in-law problem in a house, it becomes difficult for the man to exercise his manly powers in the house. And this young man, he could be doing his very best. He could be doing all that he can to make this marriage run, but it will not. The man will be embarrassed, either because of his inability to maintain the standard of living to which his wife is accustomed, or because of his feeling of insecurity if the parents-in-law choose to subsidize his income. Another possible financial crisis may occur when a young woman who was gainfully employed before her marriage finds her purchasing power reduced due to being a full-time parent and a housewife. In a situation where a girl got married when she was working and she was able to take care of herself well, now they get a baby and they decide that the mama must now stay home. You can be rest assured that this woman will not feel content with the little money that the man is now giving. She will feel reduced to nothing. She will feel cheated in her marriage. And this will bring a friction already in a marriage which is already not doing well. And so, because this girl was able to plan her own expenditures and savings without having to give consideration and explanation to other parties, she will feel aggrieved in this marriage, and this marriage may not stand. Now, with the coming of the baby, the husband is now the sole breadwinner as she sits at home to care for the baby and the home. She has very little choice anymore in arranging for the purchases of clothes or for other articles that she feels are desirable and needed about the house. The one question that will haunt this girl throughout the day and throughout the night is, where will the money come from so that she can do her purchases the way she used to do? Where will the money come from so that she can visit the salon as often as she used to do? Where will the money come from to clothe her baby the way she wants? And by the way, you know that today's young mothers are not living their lives as young mothers. They are living the lives of the television mothers, the mothers that they see on television. Now, you look at those rooms of children in the social media, and occasionally I see some things in those rooms that I ask myself, mtoto atatumiaje hii? What is this one for the baby? You know, there's things that are so complicated, Mrs. Obiro, that when you look at them, you don't understand how is this one used on a baby. But the mother of today will want that for her baby, whether the husband can afford it or not. And this already brings friction in a marriage that is so young. A marriage which is about just 1 year old or less, even less than a year. And so, when a wife has money in her own right, is so different when a wife comes into a marriage where it is the husband's money that has to be used for everything. And you must give an explanation every time you are given money. You must state how you used it. You must explain what you bought. You must explain why there is no change. And therefore, that makes it important for us to talk about family budget and family finance. The husband is rightly spoken of as the head of the house. And even though this should not serve as an excuse for him to resort to unreasonable domination of the house, it is desirable that he should lead out in those matters which involve relationship between the home and the outside world. The connection between the home and the outside world is done through money. I have told you that. So the masculine mind is so constituted that it is hard for a man to become adjusted to a situation in which his influence is entirely subordinated to that of his wife. That is why I want you to respect families where the wife is a bank manager and the husband is a clerk at the county government. Those houses are being run entirely by the grace of God, because the men are feeling so bad. The men are feeling so irritated. The men are suffering insecurity. The men are suffering inferiority. It is only the grace of God that makes a house run smoothly when the wife is earning more money than the husband. So, in order to gain an insight into the backgrounds of the financial difficulties which creep into family life, it is well to consider some of the complaints that husbands and wives make of each other in the handling of finances. We shared a bit of that last week. Now, it is only natural for a wife to assume that her husband should be making more money. That one is inborn in every woman, every wife. You naturally look at your husband and you think and you want him to make more money than you, so that the house can be run by the masculine feelings of the money that the man brings home. Consequently, a common complaint which wives make against their husbands is that they are not working hard. If a man is not bringing enough money home, the wife feels the man is not working hard enough. The women feel that their husbands lack sufficient ambition to earn enough funds, and they tell them, wewe unashinda hapa ukisema huna pesa. Kuna wanaume hapa wako na pesa, wanatoa wapi? Go and work. Go and look for money. And that makes the wives to look like they are not sensitive to the trials, to the efforts that their husbands are putting to bring money home. If a husband is doing his best, he is entitled to the sympathy and cooperation of his wife in cheerfully accepting whatever circumstances may be imposed upon them. Women, we are called upon to exercise some understanding and empathy and sympathy towards our husbands and our men that are not able to bring what you call enough money home. If there is adequate basis for this assumption that the husband is not doing his best, the problem may be so deeply rooted as to involve factors which seem to be rather far removed from financial considerations. When you come across a family where the husband is just making money that, according to the outside world, should be money enough to run his family comfortably, but the wife, on the other hand, is seeing that the man is not providing enough, then the writer is telling us, then it is important that we sit down and look for the reasons. There could be a problem in this house which is deeply rooted, much more than the money, because the husband could be refusing intentionally to give the financial support that should be given in his house. The man could be using the money for the family somewhere else, And that is why the wife is seeing that the financial support that the husband is giving is not adequate. So while wives accuse husbands for being lazy, I told you yesterday, husbands accuse their wives for being extravagant, for being wasteful, and non-appreciative of their efforts. Most financial problems in the family involve the matter of the amount of money available from a given source of income, or the amount of money to be spent in a specified way. The question usually is, how can we get enough money to meet necessary expenditures? Up to where we have reached, saints, I think you have seen that there will never be enough money in any family, that there will never be enough money